Emilio Salazar, my good friend, is still complaining about the Super Bowl, so I apologize. I had half a beat late getting up here. You had to listen to him whine over there. I'm Dan Baldwin, President and CEO of the Community Foundation for Monterey County. It's a real pleasure to see all of you here. This is one of the most important endeavors that will take place in this decade, and because the implications are a decade long. And the Community Foundation and also the Community Foundation field in California were able to recognize an opportunity to involve itself to make sure that we did our very best to be part of a complete count in Monterey County. The services that are delivered through the governmental sources, public monies, that are directly attributable to the number of people that you have and their status in your county. These services are vital, and they affect everyone in our county. And I think that there's a bit of a misnomer that these services are really only for certain sectors, but it's not true. It affects healthcare, it affects education, it affects service delivery for seniors, it affects our ability to get public funds for homeless services. So your work is going to just have an incredible impact going forward for Monterey County and overcoming a lot of the challenges that we have. So we've been able to raise, outside of the public funds, we've been able to raise another $250,000, and then we're working. And then we're a conduit for state money, and we're also very proud to be partnering with the County of Monterey, and this is actually, you're going to learn some more about that this morning, where there'll be a deployment of human capital and intellect and strategy that will assist all of our efforts in making sure that we get a complete count. You know, I just love Monterey County, and I look around the room and I see the diverse nature of this group and the seamless way that we all just live here, work together, strive for the same goals, align around similar visions, and I think it's really exemplary. And I think it's an example that a lot of other, not just parts of California, but certainly parts of the country could really learn from. So I want to point out Erica Davos, Program Officer at the Community Foundation. She is our lead on census work. She's been at this over a year now and doing an absolutely amazing job and coordinating the grant making that we're doing with those funds. So thank you, Erica. And I don't know where she wandered to, but we all owe a huge debt of gratitude to Rosemary Soto with the County of Monterey. And now I'd like to turn it over to my friend and sleep-deprived supervisor from Monterey County, Chris Lopez.
Let's try that again. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. I know I need you guys to speak up back at me because I haven't slept much. I'm very lucky to have added one more number to the census count this year. My wife gave us a beautiful baby boy about 8 days ago. My first talking point, children do get counted, right?
That's right.
All right, verse 5 in the room. Now, I'm not here today to tell you something to teach you. I'm here to learn from you. You guys are the champions. You're here in the room today because you're already connected. You know what we're here to do today, which is to build on the momentum that we have as we head into this home stretch. You guys are the feet on the ground. You guys have the connections that we need to leverage today to make sure that we get the best possible count. When you look at the maps on the back of the wall that are the supervisorial districts in Monterey County, you see a lot of red. Those are the hard to count areas. My district is the one in the center, District 3, which is by far the largest in landmass, but also one of the darkest red on that, in this room on that wall. And so I want to thank each and every one of you for your efforts, for your willingness to show up today, to be a partner. I know several of you, this isn't your first time in a room like this. I've seen several of you over the last couple of years as we prepared to be here now. And you're still here as we head into these final few weeks of preparation to make sure that we do the best that we can for the citizens of Monterey County and all of the people who live here on the Central Coast, because those roads that get funded, those projects that get built, impact not just those people living here, but people who pass through. It impacts every single person who goes to work, who wakes up, who lays their head down at night here in Monterey County. And you guys, the work that you're putting in is going to positively impact their life for a decade, 1 decade. And we all have to put that work in together, and that's why you're in the room. So I'm here today to learn from you about where are the gaps that we can still meet. What are the things we need to do down this home stretch? Now, you're not at this alone, and I want you to know that today in the room there are some champions that I've been asked just to name as well. And we have Emmanuel Garcia with Congressman Panetta's office. Thank you for coming out. And in the front we have Dominic Ursa with Assemblymember Robert Rivas' office. We have Courtney Bright with Senator Kamala Harris's office. Thank you for coming out. We have Erica Parker with the Assemblymember Stone's office here in the room. And we also have Aurelio Salazar with the Hartnell College Trustees. Thank you for coming out. This is partnership. Nobody's in this room alone. We're all in this together. And know that if you need help as we head down this home stretch, I'm there. If you need to reach out and ask for some assistance, my line's always open. And I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for being here today. Again, representing that large district with all that red, the work you're doing is going to make sure that they get the voice they deserve in the process for the next decade. So thank you for your efforts. Thank you for putting in the time. Thank you for showing up, because that's half the battle. And I look forward to learning from you today. So thank you. At this point, I want to turn it over to Rosemary Soto and Erica Matadamas, who are going to come up and share with us about today's process. But again, thank you guys for spending this morning with us, and I look forward to hearing all the input that you guys are going to share.
Thank you, Supervisor Chris Lopez, and thank you, Dan, so much for being here this morning. And welcome. Thank you all for being here. It's a packed house, but we just want to reaffirm the reason why we're here today, and it's because we have 2 very awesome co-sponsors that are helping us. So if I can have the team of CCA please stand and just recognize them as one of our and of course our County of Monterey and Rosemary and all the work that she's been doing since the start of this, which is a little bit over a year ago. I was just speaking with Patricia. We were in the same room maybe almost 2 years ago when we launched our first initial efforts in Monterey County, and we've come a long way. So thank you for that. And so I just want to take a moment to, one, explain the reasons why we're here today, why we convened you all. One is to celebrate all the great work that's been taking place so far. A lot has happened. We've all kind of taken this message out into our own communities. And 2 is to learn from one another, really share insights into what's working, what can be improved, how can we better collaborate as we go into the activation stage, which is, now, basically. And then, and Rosemary, do you want to introduce Michelle?
Sure. Before I introduce Michelle, I just want to say to everybody in the room, I'm just really proud and happy to be here with you, to share this space with you, because I think we've all connected on an individual level throughout the past year, and I think after all of this, we're going to be BFFs if we're not already, because I'm having so much fun working with everyone, and I hope that you are feeling as supported as you need to be. That is our role here as Monterey County. We want to make sure that you have what you need so that you get the word out and you are empowering our community to complete their census survey. I'll tell you, I identify as an HTC. I have never completed a survey before, and I have been one of those that has discouraged my family members and neighbors from doing it because of the lack of information and understanding and education about the impact of it. And so now here I am, right? Championing everybody, let's fill out that census. And you guys are doing that. You're out there and working with every one of our community members and just sharing with them what is real and what are concerns that can be addressed. And I just want to thank our Census Bureau partners that are in the room. We have a lot of you, if you want to raise your hands, our recruitment assistants, our partnership specialists. Thank you for your work and for connecting with all of us. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Michelle Slade. She is working with us. She's from C4 Consulting. She's been brought on to support our efforts and just to help us tie in all those loose ends to make sure that we're ready to go in just a couple of weeks. So.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. So excited to be here with you all this morning with so many caring people who are committed to ensuring that we get a complete count. And because you also count and matter, we want to make sure to start off our day with getting your voices in the room. So there's a few prompts that I would love for us to start with, and there would be no session with me if there weren't Post-its involved. So you'll notice in the center of the tables, and we'll figure out a way to bring the folks who are sitting on the perimeters into the table. I know that there's a few open seats at this table. If you have an open seat at your table, could you raise your hand? And I know some of our guests are going to have to leave in a few minutes, but where you see a hand, you're welcome to come join at the table. We'd love to have you in the circle, literally. To do that. What I'd love for you to first do is to make sure that everyone gets a hot pink fuchsia Post-it note. They're in the center of the table. Please make sure everyone gets a hot pink Post-it. And at the top of that hot pink Post-it, I want you to write the question why. Your big why. And before you start your reflections, I'm also going to ask that you take a green Post-it. Make sure everyone gets a fluorescent green, a bright green Post-it. This is getting your brain juices flowing this morning. Hopefully your coffee's kicked in. On top of the bright green Post-it, I want you to write big win. So on the pink, big Y. On the green, big win. Big win. And then there's 2 yellow in the basket. So make sure that you've got yellow Post-it. And on that one, I want you to write big wish. On your pink, you have big Y. On your green, big win. And your yellow, big wish. Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
W-I-N.
There's a little.
You'll have to forgive me, I still have my southern accent strong. After 20 years in Monterey County, almost a quarter of a century in Monterey County, I still have a southern accent. W-I-N.
W-H-E-S.
All right, so here's what I'd like you to do. Does everyone have their green Post-it? Okay. So silently, I want to give you about 3 minutes for your own reflection. When you think about a complete count in Census 2020, what's your big why? Why did you sign on to this really important effort?
Because my boss told me.
On your green, what's been a big win? What do you consider a key achievement, learning, progress that you've made so far in ensuring a complete count, getting to our hard-to-count population? So you've had some progress, maybe you've definitely had a big win. Maybe it's a learning about what you need to do differently. And then on the yellow, your big wish. What is it that you would love to get from our time together today to make sure that this is a worthwhile use of your time so that you can be more effective with Census 2020? Okay. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to do your individual reflections, and then we'll actually share at our tables and out.
Oh, let Ms. Lori go first.
Thank you. Well, for us, the win is really getting the community, various groups of people to working together and for the greater cause overall. That's what we really want the win to be.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Maria. For us, the win was to use people's fears and challenges and barriers as a source of wisdom and to inform the community as a reason why they should be able to be counted. So we serve the community with disabilities. There's a lot of stigma behind aging population, parents who have children with disabilities, or even the homeless who have a disability.
Couple other quick wins.
Buenos días. Good morning. My name is Juan Hernandez Laguna. I'm the lead organizer at CCA. I think for CCA, it's been that we've been able to train 45 farm worker families on what the census is, and those families have been taking some action in reaching about 7,000 homes thus far. If we include about 4 people per home, we're looking at a population of about 28,000 people that we're taking effect on. So that's been some of the wins, and we're just getting started. So I don't want to spoil the moment that Danielle's going to share in a while, but that's some of the wins that we've had so far.
Something that Dan and I were talking about was we appreciate the depth and breadth of the experience in this room, and what our wish for when we all walk out of the room today is greater alignment and coordination of resources, of our time, and also awareness of all the pockets of work that's being done. Because as much as I've gone to the Complete Counts Committee, I know that there's other things that I'm missing. So I'd love to hear, I'm looking forward to hearing about what everybody's doing in the work around this.
Move through the day, we're taking some time to take stock and share what is working, what are we proud of, really being clear around the progress that's been made, and to highlight some of the extraordinary efforts that are already paying off and getting folks less fearful and better connected to understanding why this is so important to be counted, what will actually happen with their information. So we're going to transition in just a moment to having our folks from CCA share with you more about their efforts to date. Before we do that, though, I do want to just offer a few working agreements of how we're coming together today. The sense that we're really all in this together. We have a shared common agenda. We have many different ways that we're approaching one. We're particularly passionate about signing on to ensure a complete count, and especially making our hard to count populations feel more comfortable in being counted. But ultimately, this is about ensuring a complete count across Monterey County, and we're all in this space to do that together. Is everyone comfortable? We have a shared common agenda. We're all in this space for the same reason. We can trust that. In terms of self-care, we understand this is a long session. If you need to get up and stretch, if you need to get refreshments, take a bio break to the restroom, we understand that. We won't be offended and think, oh no, I said something wrong, they're leaving the room. So is that comfortable to practice self-care? Yes?
Yeah.
Any objections?
No.
And then trust. It really does take a lot of trust to be in a space together and work together across our differences. Sometimes there's vulnerability. Yo hablo un poquito español. I only speak English already today. I appreciate folks being partners with me and working across and not judging and saying, well, why do we have a facilitator who only speaks English? But to really be partners and looking at our different gifts and talents of working together. So building that trust across the differences that are even in our own spaces, because we ultimately care, and no one organization, no one person, no one agency or entity can ensure this complete count. But we know that there's some rough spots as we work together. There's new relationships to be made in this space, and so we want to foster that today. And then to engage, to be willing to share and be vulnerable, to ask questions, put out the resources that you might have available that you can share with one another, and be bold today, because we really want to make sure by the time that we close out at 1 o'clock that you've at least gotten some element that will help you, what I call my C4 promise, have greater clarity, greater competence, greater confidence, and greater connectedness in ensuring a complete count. That we've done our job today if you walk away with at least one of those pieces in place for each element, right? So that we can activate our talent and ignite results for our county. Just as kind of a fun way to make sure that our littles are in the space with us today, the 0 to 5 set. Just to be a little creative for you to map, what are some of your key learnings that you get throughout the different presentations and activities today, so that when you leave here today, you're going to be fired up and excited, but that way you won't forget when you get back to your busy day-to-day work that you're doing, okay? So this is just a fun way for you to capture your reflections, because we know that we're all fast learners here and have so much to teach and learn from each other. Make sense?
Yeah.
So we're going to turn it over to Daniel from CCA, who's going to share with us about some of the work that they've been doing as we're taking stock of our efforts today.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm going to be doing a little bit of a slideshow presentation, but I just want to say, I've been with CCA for 1 year and it's going to be 3 months. This was one of the first projects when I came in that we really looked at whether CCA, if it was worth our while to get into Census. And if you guys know CCA and you understand the type of organization CCA is, you know that we are very close with the community. And we have a structure of committees that we have worked on for almost 30 years now throughout Monterey County and Pájaro Valley. So when we were discussing internally, is this something that we want to do? Do we really want to engage? We thought about that structure, and we thought about the ability that we have as trusted messengers with our community to go out and take a message of participation in the census. So when we were talking, about it, we decided, well, yeah, this is definitely something we want to explore. And after that, we had a couple of funders that came to us and said, hey, well, if you guys are interested in doing this work, why don't you apply for a grant and let's see what we can do. So one of those funders was the James Irvine Foundation. And in July of 2019, they awarded us a grant to start working on Census 2020. The other funder that we've received funding for is the Community Foundation in Monterey County, that we're really thankful for, and also thankful for putting this event together so we can come and share the work that we've been doing. So I'm gonna kind of skip back here so I can go over the slides, but I just want to say, this all started internally, and when we were thinking about the work that CCA could do, we thought, is it something that we could take on our own? Is this something that we can work on by ourselves as an organization? And we do have a structure, right? But we thought about, why not invite other community partners or other CBOs that are working in the area with the community, that are already working with groups, that are trusted messengers, that will make it easier for them to engage with these communities, right? So in July of 2019, we started inviting organizations, government and local government and faith-based organizations to kind of get together and explore the idea of creating a coalition. And as part of the funding that we received from Irvine, we're tied to doing work in Santa Cruz and San Benito County, as well as Monterey County. So we invited around 12 organizations, 19 showed up to the first meeting in July. In the first meeting in July we had, I'm just gonna go ahead and read. So we received the funding, and we called the meeting community partners, so that's that. On August 22nd, we had our second meeting. We called the 19 partners that initially came back, and then we had a total of 21 organizations that showed up, and happy with that? All right, thanks. So we had 21 organizations that at some capacity said, we want to do this work. We want to engage in census work, using our resources, using our ability, using our connection with the community, right? So we had a very diverse pool of organizations. We had faith-based, labor unions, local government, nonprofits, and also the Grower Shipper Association, who committed to helping us in engaging the farm worker community in their place of employment. So during the meeting, we talked about what this coalition should be about. What should be the important area of work? And I think the consensus was, we want action. We want to start doing work then and there. So we came together and we said, okay, what can we do at this time that has impact and that gets this information to the residents, to the people? So we decided at that August 22nd meeting to do two press conferences. One in East Salinas at the Cesar Chavez Library, and that was on September 9th. And a second press conference kicking off census activities and outreach in Greenfield in October 10th. And this is important because when we were discussing, the conference, we initially just thought about Salinas, right? And then somebody from Greenfield stood up and said, hey, well, why not do one in South County? South County is often kind of left out or not really thought of when you do these types of events. So we said, okay, that sounds great. So to our surprise, we had a really great turnout in the September 9th gathering, but to our surprise, we had almost double the attendance in the Greenfield event that we had here in Salinas. And after the press conferences, we decided to go out to the community and start walking the neighborhoods so we can start getting a little bit of feedback from the residents on what their fears are, what their concerns are about the process. So learning from the community, after the press conference in Salinas, we received a lot of feedback from residents. This allowed us to tailor the message we are delivering by addressing those concerns and focusing on sharing accurate information, bringing peace of mind to residents about participation. So we talked about confidentiality, right? It's a big issue. People want to know what happens with their information. Is it shared with ICE? Is it shared with the IRS? Is it shared with, any government organization? And so it's important for us to tailor our messaging to appease those fears. And utilizing that trust relationship we have with the community, I think is key to help them understand it's in their best interest to participate and to take that. So giving them accurate information, debunking the myths, debunking the misinformation is very important, okay? So we also figured and understood that the best vehicle for us in terms of the work that we do is going one-on-one and conveying this information one-on-one to the residents in their language, right? So we have a great pool of volunteers from their communities that are going out and sharing this work and sharing the information. So we figured the best way we can do it is let's train our volunteers, let's give them the information they need so that they can go to their communities and spread the information, right? So how do we do this? How do we get to that point? How do we eat the whole cake? How do we eat an elephant, right? One piece at a time. So we have 3 counties that we need to reach, right? We have South Santa Cruz County, Watsonville, and Pájaro, which is actually Monterey County, but it's right next to Watsonville. And then we have Hollister. And then the whole of Salinas Valley, all the way down to King City. So we figured, okay, how do we divide it up? How do we achieve what we want? So among the partners, we looked at areas where we could have the most impact, right? So we came up with areas like the areas with churches, schools, neighborhood canvassing, and farm worker outreach at the place of employment. So we have coordinated in the whole county and in Santa Cruz and San Benito, we have coordinated in each work area with strategic coalition partners, including the Diocese of Monterey, who's present here today, the Guerrero Shipper Association, Monterey Bay Central Labor Council, Monterey County Complete Count Committee, and school districts throughout the region, as well as with the city of Watsonville in Santa Cruz and Youth Alliance in the city of Hollister and San Benito. Of course, none of this would be possible if we didn't have a great volunteer pool. So volunteer participation has been key in reaching the community and the numbers that we have achieved so far. As Joel indicated earlier, we've reached over 7,000 homes in 5 canvassing events we've had throughout Monterey County, and just this past Wednesday in Watsonville. We've reached around, we were looking at the numbers, for every 1,200 homes, you're looking at around 7,000 residents, a little bit above that. So if you count the number of homes we've reached so far, we've reached around 28,000 people. and we still have 5 more events coming. So let's move to the next one. Okay, so these are the events that we've done so far. So on December 16th, we kicked off an event on Sanborn Road in Del Monte here in Salinas and East Salinas, one of the hard-to-count areas of the city. We reached over 1,035 homes with door hangers, and we walked, as we were walking, we were delivering flyers to people and bystanders that were standing there. So we were able to engage the residents in their own community, providing them with this information. Similar, on January 18th, we continued in East Salinas. We did the Hebron Heights neighborhood and other adjacent areas. We delivered over 1,642 door hangers and flyers, again, engaging the community residents and answering questions about the census that they might have. On January 22nd, we did an event in the city of Soledad, reaching 956 homes. And we also had one in Castroville on February 1st, beginning this month, where we reached over 1,000 homes. And just the one that we just had this Wednesday in Watsonville, where we reached 1,200 homes. So it's been, you know, I just want to say kudos to the volunteers, kudos to all that have participated and have supported this so far. We couldn't have done it without them. We've had an average 20 to 35 volunteers per event, but you know, the more we have, the more we're able to reach the community. If we can go to the next one. So I would like to extend an invitation to anybody who would like to, if we have people from South County and you want to join these efforts, we have coming in King City on this coming Wednesday, we're going to have a canvassing event. We're going to be meeting at the Chispa Community Room at the Villas de San Miguel in King City. On the February 15th, we're going to be meeting in Gonzales at the City Council Chambers. That's where we're going to be gathering from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. To do canvassing in Gonzales. Greenfield, we're going to be doing it on February 19th at the Chispa Community Room located at the Tyler Park Town Home. And Pájaro and City of Hollister, we still have some details pending. We're still trying to figure out where we're going to be meeting and where we're going to be gathering. But we also have those 2 events coming on in February, at the end of February. So if anybody wants to join us, you know, and take part in this, we would certainly invite everybody to come and gather with us to do this.
Would we call you? If you want to be part of it, how do we?
Well, we can connect right now, and if, you know, I'll shoot you my card or an email, right? But we can talk a little bit after this. All right, so we have some pictures here of some of the volunteer groups that have participated with us. I would just like to showcase that most of the participants are people from their communities. A lot of the residents that are from those particular areas that we've connected with. So I just want to share those pictures so that you can see those who are participating in the canvassing. Oh, another important piece. So with the grant that we received from the James Irvine Foundation, there was a portion of it that was media resources. And so we didn't receive any funding for media, but we were connected because James Irvine Foundation has a connection with, or a contract with Entravisión to provide media messaging for the census. So as we connected with the local Entravisión to inform residents about the importance of the decennial census, you know, why it's important to participate. So under this partnership, you know, we have produced, we've produced 2-minute segments, interviews, news stories, PSAs with local stakeholders. We've included and invited people from the coalition to participate, to do the interviews, and to come out and, as again, trusted messengers, to come out and give that message of participation. We are on TV, we are on the airwaves. I know the PSAs are running 150, 200 times a month. They're playing the information for the census during the soccer games, which I think is very important for our community because, you know, we love soccer. And with the Chivas playing, people are watching, you know, so it's important that they show those PSAs at that time because people are really looking. We are also, like Delia Saldívar indicated, we have a partnership with Radio Bilingüe. They are also coalition members, and we have been going to their shows and talking about census information and talking about why it's important to participate, answering questions from the community as they come. And I think it's important that you are able to reach people, not just you have boots on the ground, but then you have media, you have radio, you have print. So people are getting this message from all these different sources. And for this portion, so all of these events, all of this canvassing and outreach that we've been doing, we're looking to kind of have the, how do you say it, like the climax of the initial efforts with the March 17th, and I would like to invite Deacon Hoy from the Diocese of Monterey to come up and talk to us a little bit about, this is one of the ideas that we've been talking to about, and understanding the reach that the diocese has with the community. So Deacon, you want to share a little bit about what we've been planning?
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, we're putting together an event at Gloucester Park, and literally right in front of St. Mary's Church part of Gloucester Park, where we're going to have, hopefully, a lot of the elected officials will be there from mayor through county, up to the state, and even we've invited Jimmy Panetta. I don't know if he'll be able to be here, it being at the Capitol in DC, but hopefully at least representatives from all of those offices will be there. We'll have some presentations very quickly. It's not going to be a long event because we're going to be outside, and it's a little more challenging. Nobody's sitting down. So it's going to be a relatively short event, and then at the end of it, Bishop Garcia is going to actually go around and offer a blessing to all of the staff from Census who have been working on this for so long, and especially to all of the volunteers who are going out, taking their time going out into the communities to help make this happen. Part of the reason we're doing this is because we at the diocese are very, very strongly behind this effort, and Bishop Garcia has said he really wants to make sure that everybody is counted and understands that the church as a very highly trusted institution among a lot of the community, especially in the hard-to-count community. He wants to make sure that they understand that we support this and that we put the good name of the diocese and of the church behind this effort. Because so many people are afraid, we hope they'll trust the church more than any other organizations out there they might not trust as much, that they'll come to us and they'll see that. So Bishop Danny wants to make a very public show of that support by going out and blessing everybody involved in the census effort. So that's kind of the main point behind doing this. But everybody, certainly everybody in this room and all the groups you represent, certainly invited to attend that event and be part of that blessing and the remarks that we'll hear there. So I hope you can be out at that. That's going to be on March 17th at Gloucester Park at 3 p.m. And it'll be over easily by 4 o'clock, probably by 3:30. So hopefully you can be out there for that. We're working with Rosemary, wherever she is, to go ahead and set up some of the information kiosks and the CA, the quacks, yeah. We'll have those either at the event, specifically right there in the middle of the event in Gloucester Park, or maybe across the street in the parking lot of St. Mary's, depending on how the space lays out. But we're looking to set those up. We want to make this it's still about 2 weeks ahead of the actual April 1st kickoff, but we want to make this a big kickoff event that people are seeing, a big high visibility event, hopefully a lot of press coverage there as well, to really make this show of support for everything going on in Census. So we hope all of you can come out to attend that. We hope to have a really big crowd there, really look good for the cameras and get it put on the evening news and let people see that. So all of you invited, please come out, Gloucester Park on the 17th at 3 p.m. Thanks.
Thank you, Ethan. Thank you for that. I think, it's very important to understand that we're all in this together. The only way we're going to achieve a level of success in changing those hard-to-count areas and those reds is by reaching the community and taking the right message, right? So all of these events, I think, are important to show the community that they can trust the process. Definitely, I'll be reaching out to Erika to send out an invitation to all that are present today. And so this, again, if you're interested in participating in any of the other canvassing events, they're right there on the board. You can talk to us as we are here. A lot of you are already in contact with us through the coalition, to the Tri-County. I know that there's a lot of members that are here present today. So let's talk about increasing our volunteer pool for these events so that we can have more impact. So, this marks around the end of my presentation, but I just want to say thank you to the Community Foundation for putting this event together and allowing us the opportunity of sharing this information. I would also like to say special thank you to Rosemary Soto from the Complete Count Committee for giving us, give her a round of applause. She's been a true partner. She's been a true partner in providing us materials and everything we need and bringing coordination and to all these efforts, because without those resources, we wouldn't be able to do this work. So thank you, Rosemary, for that. I also, would like to say thank you to Joel Hernandez, our lead organizer, who's here today, and he's been helping me with the slides. And Cristina Hernandez, who is out sick, she wasn't able to make it today, but they have been the backbone of CCA's work. They have created a manual, a model to work with our community and to work and do these canvassing events that we're very happy to share. If anybody wants to have an idea of how we put together this manual, please go to Joel. You can have a conversation with him about the manual. We've shared it with the city of Watsonville. It's essentially a binder, and if you can.
Can Erica share her experience?
Oh, yes. So Erica Trejo aquí from Watsonville, from Pájaro Prevention and Assistance here.
Okay, I'm a little bit nervous. I didn't think I was going to be speaking today. But yeah, I was actually part of the Wednesday canvassing outreach event. And what we did is there was an awesome binder put together that divided the city of Watsonville into districts. A team of 6 to 8 people were divided, and we were instructed to go and just drop off door hangers. Engage community members if we saw them, but for the most part, just drop that information. We want to make sure that we are being cautious and going into people, and especially if they have fears that they might not want to talk to us. But it was an amazing event. I'm still really tired from it. I got to meet so many people, and I got to see Watsonville in a better way that I had not before, and I'm just really, really excited to be working with CCA in this.
Good for sharing that. It was, it's a good exercise. If anybody from Blue Zones is here, it's a good opportunity to go out and walk the community. So the next, we also shared the manual with Hollister, and this manual, you can tweak it, you can change it to your needs, make it so that you can use it for whatever purpose, the way you want to use it. You can change it. We're open to sharing. We're going to be breaking up in groups later on, and we can talk a little bit more about what that could look like. But thank you for allowing us this space to share the work that CCA is doing. Thank you for everything, and we'll be around.
As an organizer, can I do something?
Sure, go ahead.
We're going to reach South County in the next 2 weeks. If you're interested in helping us reach South County, it's the longest heart-of-count area that we have. Supervisor Chris Lopez just mentioned it. If you're interested in joining us in any of those cities, let's use those maps, write down your name, telephone number, and I'll make sure that we reach out to you, email. If you are willing to take some action and commit to reaching those heart-of-count areas and flipping those in the next few months into non-heart-of-count areas. So instead of looking for me, just look for the map, write your information, and I'll guarantee that we'll reach out to you. Thank you for the map.
All right. Yeah, a question over here?
I was just going to compliment CCA. I was a part of one of your canvassing training opportunities that was in Salinas. And one of the things that stood out for me about what you guys do is that you actually have an invitation to the family as a whole. So there's parents and their kids being motivated and active in the community. So it's a family affair versus just looking for individuals or adults or people who just have some time on the side. No, they bring the families together, and you can see that relationship strengthen. The kids and the parents doing something together and seeing the impact of that, that is something I took back, and it's a big value, especially right now with the climate that we're in. Making sure the families can work together is definitely a good thing, so I want to commend you on that.
Well, thank you, and I think that's it for us at this time. Thank you so much, Michelle.
We're beginning to map the assets and resources that you can rely on and seek out. You can see it's a really collaborative group. CCA did a great investment in building that manual or toolkit and to graciously make it available to everyone. So one of the things that we're considering that might make it easier than CCA now building 100 phone calls or emails Would it work for everyone if we could have a central web-based resource site that you know that you could go access these materials and download it directly? I'm seeing some heads nod, so that's something that we're working on behind the scenes, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But we know that so many of you have been really active doing this work for a year now. It might be helpful before Rosemary takes the mic and gives some highlights in partnership with some of the leaders who are in kind of the geographic action teams in the county to see who's in the space, because I am realizing that a lot of folks might not actually understand who actually is reaching across the county, potentially even the Tri-County region, who's really focused on North County, who's focused in Salinas or South County or the Peninsula into Big Sur. So maybe if we could, if you're comfortable either raising your hands or standing up when we can see which areas of influence you're really focused on. North County folks, and I know CCA team, Sierra, they're going to be standing for all of them virtually. People who are really focused on getting the complete count in the North County area of Monterey. See your hands. Okay. Folks who are really focused on Salinas area. Good chance to look around the room and see who those partners are. South County.
See you next week.
By the way, when you held your hand up, they took a picture and they're going to be following up. The Peninsula out to Big Sur area. So Rosemary is actually going to give a head nod, appreciations to those folks really active already in the communities, and offer an opportunity for leadership representatives from those groups also to give us a highlight of what's happening in those communities.
Okay, so we saw the show of hands, who's where and who's focused in all the different parts of the county. We always point back to the maps that you see in the back of the room and where are those hard to count areas. And I think we've done a fairly good job at making sure that we have the partners that we need at the table that represent the different hard to count populations in each part of the county. I think we still have work to do. There are still some hard to count populations that are not as well represented as they could be, and so that's something that I think we'll dive deeper in a little while into how do we best address that. We just really want to make sure we're reaching and making the effort to reach every hard to count population in each part of the county. I think we have a lot going on in Salinas. We have a Salinas action team. The way that we structured our complete count committee was to establish action teams that were focused in different areas that were of critical need, and so Salinas being the largest city in the county, who also holds all of the hard to count populations that were identified within its city limits. We have the city of Salinas, who's an amazing partner, and the action team here in Salinas is led by Adam Garrett and Tara Hollinger, who couldn't be here with us today, but we know that they have done such a lot of work and a great job at making sure that the census is visible throughout the county, throughout the city, I'm sorry. I'm always thinking about the county, but anyway, yeah, and so they're doing like a lot of work with the outreach and engagement and engaging community, the business community as well as nonprofits. There's a lot of crossover in terms of folks who are a part of different efforts, all working towards the same thing, and also our focus is on coordination, right? And we also have from the Peninsula, I want to give a shout out to Leslie Milton with the City of Seaside, assistant manager there, and she's doing a great job at leading all of the outreach efforts from all the communities, starting from Marina all the way down to Big Sur. There's a lot of reach, and there are some parts of the peninsula that may not necessarily be categorized as a hard to count by census tract and block. However, we know that there are hard to count populations within those areas, and so leaving no stone unturned, we're making sure that we have the effort to reach those populations in those areas as well. So they've also been very instrumental in identifying the QACs and QAKs that should be placed throughout those areas, and we have an ever-growing list of those QACs and QAKs, and so we're doing a great job there, as well as in the North County area. Shout out to Yvette Padilla from LULAC and North Monterey County Unified School District. She's taking the lead in the North County Action Team. I want to say about the North County Action Team, something that's quite unique is that it's youth-driven. There's a group of youth, high school, all freshmen, a combination of freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors that are really driving the work there. They're telling us this is how it needs to be done. And I love it. That is so amazing. I get goosebumps every time I think about it because they're so ready. They know their community. They know what works. They said the biggest event we have to do here in Castroville is have an event where we honor the seniors, the elders who have done so much for our community. And they said, and everybody's going to come to that because it's going to be their family members. It's going to be the people in the community who hold them in high regards. They're going to want to be here. And we're going to have census banners everywhere. We're going to have a kiosk so people can complete their census. We're going to honor veterans. So they just had all these amazing ideas that it culminated into this huge event, but they didn't stop there. They have several other ideas that they're further developing, and they're very action-oriented. They want to know what's going to happen, when, and how. So I love it because they keep us on our toes, and they even volunteer to be the bee. So I can't go. That makes me really happy. And in the South Monterey County, we did just formally launch our action team there. We don't have a identified action team chairperson, but I saw some hands from the South County area, so we'll definitely look to y'all to take the lead. And really, the action team chair is just helping to keep the work going with the support of everyone that's a part of that, and obviously with the support of the county as well. And yeah, so in a nutshell, there's a lot going on throughout. There has been so much work done already, and we have so many strategies that are still to be implemented. I think you will begin to see a lot more around media, and we have someone who's going to share some more details about that. And I think next up is education, right?
We're sensitive to the energy in the room, and there's a couple of housekeeping things we'd like to do. We're aware our photographer is about to leave, and we want to make sure to capture all the folks who are such a tremendous part of making the complete count work. So what we'd like to do is to take a brief break before we have Jennifer come up and share about the efforts happening across the school districts in the county. And if we can get folks organized, you'll see Ms. Amanda Holder from the Community Foundation in the back corner here. You can head towards her before you take your break, and we're going to try to get the picture, group picture, and take a break and be back within 10 minutes. Does that make sense? And Rosemary has one announcement before you move towards Amanda.
Before you go on your break and look to the photo shoot that we're going to have right now, because we have to make sure we get the good angle and all that, right? So on that table, before you leave for the day for sure, please check out, there is a little catalog there that we put together that'll tell you what is available in terms of swag. So if you could, and there's an order form there where you can just fill it out and let us know what are the items that you need and would like, and the quantity that you would like, and we will make sure that we put in an order and have it shipped directly to your office. Just let us know who's the contact person and what the correct address would be. We want to make sure you have everything you need, and we know swag is important, not just because it looks good, but because it really helps draw people to the work. So just a quick announcement on that.
Awesome. So we're going to have folks, if you don't mind, users, can you raise your hand and join users in the corner there?
That these services are really only for certain sectors, but it's not true. It affects healthcare, it affects education, it affects service delivery for seniors, it affects our ability to. So we've been able to raise, outside of the public funds, we've been able to raise another $250,000. And then we're trying to do it for state money. This morning, there'll be a deployment of human capital and intellect and strategy that will assist all of our efforts in making sure that we get a complete count.
Share a couple folks, maybe. Christine. Oh, thank you. So I'm looking for a couple of folks who might be willing to share if you found that you've had a common big why with your partner this morning about why you're sharing your talents and your precious time to ensure a complete count in Monterey County. Joey, since you helped me know that I wasn't speaking loud enough, do you mind sharing?
Well, the why, to get more resources to our communities.
To get more resources to our communities and to have political representation.
How about someone here?
Well, to add to that, for the Big Sur community or Big Sur planning area, the data on number of residents is really important because we range from, I've always heard 1,200 to 1,700, but we don't have a true count.
Thank you.
Our why was basically how to get us, well, to understand specific, to get specific data on, the census so we can sell it to the families to make it not seem like, it's threatening or, gonna expose anything.
I'm gonna get my exercise this morning. I've always wanted to be over it. This is the closest I'm gonna get. Let's see.
So me and my partner are from Centro Nacional para el Desarrollo Indígena Oaxaqueño, and something that we both said is that since like a lot of the indigenous communities are the ones that work the field that makes California the biggest economy in the United States and like with the top 10 in the world, there's no reason why there should be starving children or people without homes. So our goal specifically for our communities is that we make sure that Native and Indigenous communities will be counted in the census so that we can no longer be like ignored or like pushed under the rug, and those like issues will have to like be taken care of by the government and different public resources.
So my why was to help hear mostly from those of you in the room who are actually on the ground doing the work and being able to hear firsthand what the challenges are that you're facing and try and come up with or hear solutions on how to fix them, or at least help.
One more brave soul who's willing to share.
Voy a hablar en español. Mi por qué es porque esta es una manera de demostrar que las comunidades latinas, indígenas, niños pequeños de 0 a 5 realmente son valorados. No nada más los necesitamos porque queremos los fondos para los programas que se van a ofrecer en el próximo año, pero realmente ese es el comienzo de demostrarles que son valorados y que van a recibir a través de los próximos 10 años esos servicios que se necesitan para vivir mejor.
Visions, and I think it's really exemplary, and I think it's an example that a lot of other, not just parts of California, but certainly parts of the country